The theme for this year's budget is Together, a Better Future. Over the years, we have achieved a lot by working together. We built new homes and improved older homes and estates. Commuters enjoy better service because we invested in more buses and trains. New rail lines such as the Downtown Line have been opened. The upgrading of the signalling systems for the older North-South and East-West lines will further shorten waiting times for commuters. We have made healthcare more affordable and accessible by raising subsidies, adding more hospitals, polyclinics, and nursing homes. And we also introduced MediShield Life and the Pioneer Generation Package. Furthermore, we have strengthened our social security. Just last year, over $1 billion was given out through welfare and silver support to lower-income workers and seniors who need more assistance. Singapore's economy has picked up. In 2017, GDP grew by 3.6%, surpassing earlier forecasts. Productivity growth of 4.5%, measured by rail value added per actual hour worked, was the highest since 2010. At the same time, rail median income for Singapore citizens rose by more than 5%. While much has been achieved, we must continue building for the future. In the coming decade, there are three major shifts that we have to prepare for. First is the shift in global economic weight towards Asia, which looks set to grow and play a larger role in global trade and investment flows. The second major shift is the emergence of new technologies that will reshape both economy and jobs. Third is aging, which will have wider implications on our economy and society and on government expenditure. In Budget 2018, we have a strategic and integrated plan to build on our strong position and take advantage of these major shifts. First, we must develop a vibrant and innovative economy to ensure that we continue to create good jobs for Singaporeans. Second, we must build a smart, green and livable city that all of us are proud to call home. Third, we must foster a caring and cohesive society that helps families care for one another and brings the community closer together. Finally, we must plan ahead to ensure that we have enough resources to do all that we need to do. This year's budget includes various measures to help us achieve this. Some are new, some are extended or enhanced. We will build a vibrant and innovative economy together. Businesses will get the support they need. The wage credit scheme will be extended for 3 more years until 2020. This will help to co-fund wage increases, encouraging employers to pay better wages to their workers, even as they cope with near-term cost pressures and transform their businesses. The Productivity Solutions Grant will combine existing schemes that support companies looking to adopt off-the-shelf productivity and technology solutions, making it easier for businesses to identify and apply for support in these areas. The Enterprise Development Grant will provide more holistic and customized support for businesses to build deep capabilities in areas like innovation and internationalization. They can receive funding support of up to 70% of qualifying costs. We will create opportunities and prepare Singaporeans for better jobs and better lives. Workers will continue to receive a helping hand. The current work trial scheme will be upgraded into a new career trial. Lower to middle income workers who wish to try out new careers will benefit from higher funding support. The Tech Skills Accelerator Scheme or TESA scheme will be expanded to benefit more Singaporeans. It will be extended to other sectors like manufacturing, where digital technologies have become increasingly important. It will also support more people to learn emerging digital skills such as data analytics and cybersecurity. The ASEAN Leadership Programme will be launched to help our business leaders build networks and plan business expansions into Southeast Asian markets. Education helps our children realize their potential. That is why we continue to invest heavily in education to ensure that every child, regardless of background, has access to quality education. To provide more support to our students, we will increase the annual EduSave contributions provided by the government from $200 to $230 for each primary school student, and from $240 to $290 for each secondary school student. This takes effect from January 2019. The Ministry of Education will also enhance its financial assistance schemes for primary, secondary, and pre-university students to provide more support and to ensure that every child has the opportunity to realize his or her potential. This includes revising the eligibility criteria for such schemes to benefit more students. We will help individuals and families prepare for the future and support one another. This budget will encourage family members to live with or near each other. The Proximity Housing Grant, which has benefited more than 11,000 families so far, has been enhanced with changes taking effect immediately. A higher grant of $30,000 will be given to families buying a resale flat to live with their parents or children. Singles buying resale flats to live with their parents will also receive a higher grant of $15,000. In addition, there will be a new grant of $10,000 for singles who are buying a resale flat to live near their parents. The conditions for determining what is considered near has also been simplified to within 4 kilometers. Previously, it was defined as living in the same town or within 2 kilometers. With this change, families will be able to receive the Proximity Housing Grant if they choose a resale flat in any town, as long as the flat is within 4 kilometers of their parents or children. This means families will have more choices when they are choosing a flat to live near their loved ones. We will support households with their expenses. S&CC rebate of 1.5 to 3.5 months that households enjoyed last year will be extended for 1 more year. About 900,000 HDB households will benefit from this. The annual U-Save will be increased by $20 for eligible HDB households. This increase will be for 3 years, from 2019 to 2021. It will cover the expected average increase in electricity and gas expenses for HDB households that may arise indirectly from the carbon tax on large emitters such as energy companies. On average, a household living in a 4-room flat, for example, will likely see an increase of less than $10 in the annual utilities bill, half of the increase in U-Save each year. As our population ages, we must start to prepare ourselves, strengthening partnerships to provide better care for our seniors. Government agencies and community partners worked hand in hand to successfully pilot the community networks for seniors. The networks encouraged seniors to remain active and stay healthy. They also linked up lonely seniors with new friends and provided care for frail and vulnerable seniors. The community networks for seniors will be expanded nationwide by 2020 to benefit more elderly Singaporeans. The existing Pioneer Generation Office will be renamed the Silver Generation Office, reaching out not just to pioneers, but to all seniors. In addition, social and health-related services for our seniors will be brought together under the Ministry of Health for better planning and delivery of care. The Agency for Integrated Care will become the central point of contact for such services, making it more convenient for our elderly and their caregivers. Furthermore, the role and capabilities of social service officers will be strengthened so that citizens who need help can get it more quickly and effectively. We want to encourage a spirit of giving in every Singaporean. 250% tax deduction for donations made to institutions of a public character will be extended by another 3 years, till 31st December 2021, to encourage more donations. Government support for the 5 Community Development Councils, or CDCs, will be increased. This will enable them to do more to help the community. For the next 5 years, the government will provide dollar-for-dollar matching on donations to the Empowering for Life Fund under the President's Challenge. This supports funding for skills upgrading and employment programs for the most vulnerable in society. In planning for our future, we must ensure that we have the revenue and resources to do all that we need to do. Over the past decade, the government has increased spending in many areas to benefit Singaporeans. Between 2011 and 2018, overall government expenditure increased significantly from $55 billion to an estimated $89.1 billion. One of the biggest contributors to the government's increased expenditure is healthcare, which grew from $3.9 billion in 2011 to an estimated $10.2 billion in 2018. This has gone into building and operating more hospitals and other healthcare facilities, as well as enhancing healthcare subsidies. We are also making major investments in transport, so that 8 in 10 households will be within 10 minutes of a train station by 2030. Investments have gone into expanding and maintaining our rail and bus networks and keeping public transport fares low for Singaporeans. Government spending has brought many benefits to Singaporeans. All Singaporeans receive subsidies for education, healthcare, and housing. Young families receive additional support to help with the costs of raising a child. Middle and lower income families also receive additional support for healthcare, housing, education, and cost of living. Seniors receive additional support in their retirement years to help with healthcare and daily costs of living. There is extra help for the most vulnerable in our society, with schemes such as ComCare, Medifund, the Public Rental Scheme, and Silver Support. We were able to raise our expenditure and meet these needs because past governments were responsible and planned ahead. For instance, the government raised GST in 2007, introduced the Net Investment Returns or NIR framework in 2008, introduced a progressive property tax regime in 2010, and increased personal income tax rates for top income earners in 2015. With these moves, we made sure there is sufficient revenue for this decade, with contributions from our reserves being a major revenue source. In fact, the NIR contribution has more than doubled from $7 billion when it was introduced to an estimated $15.9 billion in 2018. We start from a strong position, but beyond this decade, there are a few key areas where we expect to spend more on. Investments in education must continue, so our young can have a good start in life, and our people can continue to reskill and upskill to access good jobs and thrive in the new economy. Security is one area that we will have to invest more in to counter terrorism and a wider range of threats such as cyber attacks. Infrastructure investments will benefit generations of Singaporeans as we continue to improve our living environment and secure new economic opportunities. Various means of funding are being studied, but the government will still bear a large proportion of this expenditure. Lastly, given our aging population, healthcare expenditure will see a large increase. We will build more hospitals and other healthcare facilities, enhance healthcare subsidies, and invest in new medical technology. Every one of us will be able to tap on these when we need them. We will therefore have to raise GST by 2 percentage points sometime within the period of 2021 to 2025 to support these increased recurrent needs. The government understands Singaporeans' concerns that this would raise costs, especially for necessities. To help Singaporeans with the transition, the government will implement an offset package. Lower and middle-income households will receive more support. The permanent GST voucher scheme will also be enhanced to better support lower-income households and seniors once the increase in GST is implemented. At the same time, the government will continue to absorb GST on publicly subsidized education and healthcare. On the whole, we will ensure that our system of taxes and transfers will continue to be fair and progressive, even with this GST increase. In planning for our future needs, the government has taken in public feedback and studied them seriously. Measures have been put in place to ensure that the government remains lean and disciplined in spending. The government has also explored and weighed various options and funding models before considering revenue measures for the next decade. For 2017, we expect a budget surplus due to exceptional contributions. The government will set aside a large portion of this and save ahead for our future needs in areas such as infrastructure and for Elder Shield, so that all of us can benefit from these necessary investments. Just like how our forefathers planned ahead to give us the Singapore we live in today, we too must plan ahead to give our future generations a better Singapore to live in. At the same time, the government is committed to sharing the fruits of the country's development with everyone. All adult Singaporeans will receive a one-off SG bonus with a cash payout of $300, $200 or $100, depending on their income. In summary, Budget 2018 will help us address near-term challenges and also position Singapore for the future. It has outlined key plans and initiatives that will help us develop a vibrant and innovative economy to ensure that we continue to create good jobs for Singaporeans. It will enable us to build a smart, green, and livable city that all Singaporeans can be proud to call home. It will encourage us to foster a caring and cohesive society. It will also enable us to plan ahead to ensure that we have enough resources to continue building for our future. Here are some examples of how government spending has supported and benefited Singaporeans. Mr. and Mrs. A are a couple with a young son and another child on the way. They are currently living in a rented 3-room flat with a monthly household income of about $1,500 per person. They are eligible for a variety of benefits, including those under the Marriage and Parenthood Package, as well as GST vouchers and SNCC rebate. If they choose to buy a 4-room HDB resale flat with their parents as their first home now, they can enjoy $90,000 in CPF housing grants. In addition, Mr. and Mrs. A will receive $500 in cash from the one-off SG bonus this year. In total, they stand to receive more than $23,000 in cash and other benefits, and more than $95,000 in CPF benefits. Mr. and Mrs. B are in their 60s and live in a 3-room flat. They are preparing for retirement. This elderly couple is eligible for various healthcare benefits that will help with their medical costs. Mr. B qualifies for Silver Support and will receive a cash payout of $600 4 times a year. In the next few years, from 2019 to 2021, they will also get a $20 increase in their annual YouSave rebate, which means they will receive $360 instead of $340 each year. Together with other benefits such as workfare and child's outpatient subsidies, they will receive more than $8,000 in cash and other benefits, and more than $6,000 in CPF benefits. Mr. and Mrs. C have 2 school-going children, and Mr. C's mother lives with them in a 5-room flat. As a pioneer, Grandma C receives a range of healthcare benefits under the Pioneer Generation Package, which she will enjoy for life. This includes the Pioneer Generation Disability Assistance Scheme, which provides cash support of $100 each month. The family will also receive GST vouchers and SNCC rebate. In addition, the children are doing well in school and receiving MOE bursaries as they are within the top 25% of their cohort. Next year, in 2019, the son will receive a higher EduSave contribution from the government of $290, a $50 increase from $240. Together, Family C will receive more than $9,000 in cash and other benefits, and close to $3,000 in CPF benefits. These are some examples illustrating how government spending has benefited Singaporeans in many ways. If we continue working together, partnering each other, planning ahead, we can build a greater Singapore for everyone and make a better future for all of us. Thank you.